Well, we have an incident in Roosevelt Field I want to talk about tonight. News 12 not really covering it that much. There was a fight in the food court at Roosevelt Field. That's what's going on. So if we look at this, you'll see here no evidence. Actually, News 12 did have a little... News 12 has a little blurb about it, but they don't actually have a video. It's funny, it comes on the News 12 The Bronx site. So it says, no evidence of shots fired during fight at Roosevelt Field food court. A fight at the food court inside Roosevelt Field caused a scare for some customers on Monday. So it's happened around 6 p.m. There was a disturbance when some chairs and a garbage pail were turned over, leading to some believe that shots were fired, because it sounds like it when they're knocked over. Police arrived to the scene, found no evidence. They said that there was a fight. If you follow Laura Uli, she said that there was a fight there. And this is what we have. So we have videos of people running out of the mall, and there was a huge traffic jam too as a result of this. People just running out of the mall here. You see people just leaving the mall, fleeing the mall here. Roosevelt Field Mall on lockdown. It says there were reports of shots fired, but there were no shots fired at the mall. But this goes on at Roosevelt Field. There's always problems, fights. People don't feel safe there. There are people up there that hang out in that mall that are up to no good. Mall scare. So they do have something here. Again, News 12 LI put something up, but again, it was just the whole Roosevelt Field Mall. So there you go. Roosevelt Field Mall definitely having issues. And, I was at Smith Haven. That mall is so much better than Smith Haven. But Roosevelt Field is by so many bad areas. That's the problem. Let's look at Roosevelt Field on the map for a minute. And I'll just show you why Roosevelt Field has all the problems it does, all right? So if you want to know why Roosevelt Field has all the problems it does, and it really doesn't take looking at this map to show you why, all right? Roosevelt Field is here. All right, we'll draw them all in. I guess we'll put it in orange, all right? Well, it's not really orange, but it's orange. And we'll put it in pink. All right, so the mall's here. But near the mall, you have all these dangerous neighborhoods like Hempstead, Uniondale. This whole area got problems. This whole area here. So all the problems from this area are very close to going to Roosevelt Field, all right? And that's not the only bad area. Then you have Westbury, also over here, all right? Especially Newcastle. So they're going to come to Roosevelt Field too. So that's part of the reason why Roosevelt Field is in trouble. The demographics of the area are just the problems. And, the middle of the island is in trouble as it is, all right? Especially Nassau. Now, Smith Haven is in the middle of the island, but if you note Smith Haven Mall, which is over here, you'll notice there are no bad neighborhoods near it. There are no, these are all, there are no ghettos. There are no places like Hempstead around the mall. So you're not going to have any problems going to that mall. And that's the issue. So that's the issue with Roosevelt Field. All right. And it's just, for some reason, Suffolk County, the problems that the middle has aren't really so bad in Suffolk County. It's mostly Nassau and Western Suffolk that have that. So once you get west of Ronkonkoma, that's when you start having the problems that are coming in. That's a big problem. And somebody made a comment on this thread here because there's been some crime. Obviously, News 12. If you go to their website, they don't have anything on it, by the way. So if you go to their website, they don't have anything. Except they talk about Brightwaters, yeah, because that's their that's their world that they have there, in Brightwaters. A perfect world. No, they don't have to worry about crime at all. Skating on the lake. I have a video. I saw some people skating on the lake in Argyle too. So it's it is a little utopia there where they don't have to worry about things like crime. They feel safe and they're happy. Whereas those of us in the middle of the island, especially if you're at Roosevelt Field, do not feel safe. So Laura Uli, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. I probably am not. Ul, I think is the way to pronounce her name. But you'll see, this is in response to this is a thread about an armed, it's never made the news. There was an armed robbery at a store in New Hyde Park. New Hyde Park's got a lot of problems. This is at the Walgreens in New Hyde Park, corner of Langdale Street and Hillside Avenue. And two suspects, males, entered the store and displayed a gun. All right? The incident was reported at 9:30 tonight. And they said the same suspects were involved in an attempted robbery across the street at the CVS yesterday night. So it's interesting to note the comment here. This comment right here is very important. It says crime is happening a lot in this town because people don't go out. Stores are shutting down. Everyone is at home by 6 p.m. and they don't go out. Also, people are not alert. So this sounds like what's going on in Mineola too, where it's just dead after the sun goes down. So this is New Hyde Park tonight. I went to ShopRite. This is actually not too far from where the robbery happened. I went to ShopRite and you'll see here, look at this. I took this picture. This is Union Boulevard or Union Turnpike. I know Union Turnpike, Route 25B, and you'll see there's no traffic here. It's as I look down, there's no traffic at all. Is completely no cars, and this is like 8 o'clock at night. So this is what's going on. People don't go out in the middle of the island. It's like the pandemic has never ended here. The South Shore is back to normal. I mean, yeah, sure, today was the day after Christmas. It was kind of quiet. But Mineola was like this. New Hyde Park was like this. But I was on the South Shore. There were people. You'll see in my Babylon video. There were people there. But here, it's just a ghost town. Where is everybody? And that, when there's no one around, that gives the criminals all the, there's no one around, so they're going to feel more comfortable committing crimes. That comment really hit the nail on the head, and I wanted to share that with you because this is what's going on. What's going on in New Hyde Park? What the hell's going on? It's being redlined. That's what's going on. Nobody wants to talk about it, but that's what's going on. And that's why I get all the hate because, again, the people that are in power, they don't want you to know that this whole area is being redlined. They don't want you to know that it's the whole middle of the island is being redlined. So this whole area here, pretty much all the way from Jamaica, all the way out toward Ronkonkoma, all the way out here, is being redlined. And all the way out, this whole middle of the island, and maybe a few little areas where it abates, like around Levittown, and maybe around like Garden City, where it abates. But I mean, this whole area is just they're all the people getting out of jail are being put somewhere, and they're being put here. That's what's going on. Nobody wants to talk about it. Of course, you have the areas like Freeport and Roosevelt too, on the South Shore. But this area is just they're dumping all the problems. People need to wake up and see what's going on, and do something about it. But instead they're just like not doing anything. It's just apathy, And this makes absolutely no sense because in the scheme of the climate change aspect, we all know what areas are going to be affected by climate change on Long Island the hardest, all right? Big storms, you're going to have trees down on the North Shore, all right? You're going to have trees down on the North Shore, power outages, impassable roads, all right? South Shore, pull this out a little more. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that, actually. But South Shore, let me pull this out more. Always do this. I'm always zoomed in too far. Yeah, that's better. But meanwhile, on the South Shore, get my tools back here. On the South Shore, you're going to have flooding. So you're going to have flooding here on the South Shore. Right? South Shore is flooding. Whole South Shore is flooding. All right? Flooded. All right? Going to have flooding here. All right? And then on the North Shore, you're going to have all the trees that are knocked down and lots of power outages. All right? That's why the North Shore sucks. All right? So where does that leave the best place to be in a big storm on Long Island? That leaves the middle of the island. That's right. The middle is the best place to be in a storm. Right here. Right here. The middle is the best place. So why do they keep dumping the problems in the middle of the island? Because the dumb people that run real estate, you're going to remember that they're not educated. They're Wall Street people. Wall Street money is dumb money, all right? And they don't get it. They just, let's put the criminals in the middle because that's where less white people live. But they don't get that when natural disasters happen, that the South Shore is going to flood, the North Shore is going to have trees down, and the middle will fare probably the best, all right? They don't get that. And that's why I can't stand Wall Street people. So, yeah, I know I went off a tangent here, and this is not a complaint, all right? This is not a complaint, all right? Because I just want to make people aware of what's going on because, they need to do something about it, All right? It's enough with these criminals. Let's get them back behind bars. All these EDPs, let's make sure that they're in psych wards, and so all of us can be safe, all right? Because what's going on is ridiculous. And putting all these money and investment in the South Shore, you know what I mean, when it's going to flood, it's stupid. I mean, didn't we learn anything a couple of days ago when the South Shore had that storm? But no, nobody learns anything. Nobody does anything, They just sit by and they just let it happen, so... I know. I'm probably just wasting my breath here, but hey, I don't want the criminals being dumped here anymore, right? Because it doesn't make any sense to dump all these criminals here, to dump all these problems here. We'll just make it brown because this, dump all these problems in the middle of the island, all the way out from like Queens, the city, all the way out to just west of Ronkonkoma. It just doesn't make any sense to do this, man. No, they should be in jail. In jail. And off our streets, all right? Because there's no doubt in my mind that the people who robbed the store in Newitt Park and the thugs that fought in Roosevelt Field tonight probably have criminal records and were probably arrested before. But we're let out, and this is why you don't let these people out of jail, because they just keep recidivizing over and over again. But all right, I'm sorry for the rant there. I just I don't want to make a rant. All right, I just want people aware of what's going on. I'm trying to rant less, but this is what it is. And part of the reason I have reservations about you live on the South Shore and I go worry about flooding. I got to worry about flooding if I live on the South Shore, right? North Shore, forget it. North Shore really sucks because you have power outages and you're isolated. All right. At least on the South Shore, you got the flooding issue, but but you got to worry about flooding. In the middle of the island, I don't have to worry about flooding. All right, I don't have to worry about flood waters coming in. I don't want to go through a flood, especially seawater flood, because that damages a lot of stuff. A lot of people out there had their boiler rooms flooded. They have no heat, on the South Shore as a result of that storm. I don't want to deal with that. So again, what's going on makes no sense. People need to wake up and start. We got to get these Wall Street scumbags and hold them accountable for what they're trying to do to us in the middle of the island. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you for watching and have a good night.